Hey everyone, my name is Marc Bates. I'm a metabolic health coach, and today's topic is unlocking the power of nutrition, a metabolic revolution. Okay, this is something your doctor probably has never talked to you about. The food on your plate shapes more than your waistline. It rewires your body's fundamental operating system. For decades, conventional wisdom has told us that dietary fat is the villain of our nutritional story. Fat makes you fat. Fat clogs arteries. Fat causes heart disease. But what if this narrative, reinforced through decades of public health messaging, stands on increasingly shaky scientific ground? A growing body of research suggests we've been running a massive unintentional experiment on human metabolism, and the results aren't pretty. The Western diet experiment. The standard Western diet represents a radical departure from the nutritional patterns that shaped human evolution. Characterized by processed foods, refined carbohydrates, industrialized seed oils, and added sugars. A lot of added sugars. It bears little resemblance to anything our ancestors consumed. This matters because our metabolic machinery wasn't designed for this dietary landscape. The consequences appear increasingly severe. Research links the Western diet to a range of chronic diseases and inflammation processes, including obesity, type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and certain cancers. The evidence shows it functions as a key stimulus for gut microbial vulnerability and chronic inflammation. Even more alarming is how quickly these effects manifest. Scientists have found that just 14 days of following a Western diet can trigger significant inflammation, weaken immune response to pathogens, and activate biological pathways linked to chronic lifestyle diseases. 2 weeks to measurably degrade your metabolic health? This raises profound questions about what we consider normal eating patterns and their relationship to our rising rates of chronic disease. The ketogenic alternative. Against this backdrop, ketogenic and carnivore diets have emerged as counterpoints to conventional nutritional wisdom. These approaches dramatically restrict carbohydrates while emphasizing fat and protein, creating a fundamental shift in how the body produces energy. When carbohydrate intake drops below a certain threshold, typically around 50 grams daily, the body transitions from primarily burning glucose to burning fat and producing ketones. This metabolic state, called ketosis, represents an entirely different way of fueling cellular processes. But is this just another dietary fad, or does it represent something more significant? Recent research indicates ketogenic diets may reduce the risk of several diseases, including type 2 diabetes, hyperlipidemia, heart disease, and cancer. This challenges the conventional belief that high-fat diets are universally unhealthy. The carnivore diet takes this approach even further by eliminating plant foods entirely. While more extreme, even this approach has shown surprising results in preliminary research. Metabolic flexibility and insulin dynamics. To understand why these dietary approaches yield such different outcomes, we need to examine their effects on insulin signaling and metabolic flexibility. The Western diet, with its high carbohydrate load, creates a pattern of frequent insulin spikes. This hormone directs the body to store energy, primarily as fat, and blocks the breakdown of existing fat stores. Chronically elevated insulin levels can lead to insulin resistance, where cells become less responsive to insulin signals. This creates a metabolic environment prone to fat storage, inflammation, and dysregulated energy metabolism. In contrast, ketogenic and carnivore approaches maintain lower, more stable insulin levels. This facilitates access to stored body fat and promotes metabolic flexibility. The ability to efficiently switch between different fuel sources based on availability. This metabolic flexibility appears to be a crucial component of overall health. When lost, as often happens with the standard Western diet, the body becomes increasingly rigid in its fuel preferences and less resilient to stress. Beyond weight loss. While weight management often dominates discussions about dietary approaches, the differences between these nutritional philosophies extend far beyond the number on a scale. The ketogenic diet's effects on inflammation represents one of its most promising aspects. By reducing inflammatory markers and oxidative stress, it may address fundamental drivers of chronic disease. Neurological benefits also appear significant. The brain functions efficiently on ketones, and research shows potential applications for conditions ranging from epilepsy to neurodegenerative diseases. The microbiome represents another frontier where these dietary approaches diverge dramatically. The Western diet appears to promote gut dysbiosis, an imbalanced microbial ecosystem associated with numerous health problems. While conventional wisdom suggests that the fiber in plant foods is essential for gut health, emerging research indicates that ketogenic and carnivore diets may support different but potentially beneficial microbial communities. Okay, and they do it much better than eating plants and fiber. The insulin carbohydrate model. At the heart of these dietary differences lies the insulin carbohydrate model of obesity and metabolic dysfunction. This framework suggests that carbohydrate overconsumption drives insulin dysregulation, which then promotes fat storage, blocks fat utilization, and creates the hormonal environment for weight gain and metabolic disease. If correct, this model inverts much of our conventional dietary wisdom. Fat consumption becomes less problematic in the absence of high carbohydrate intake. Calorie counting becomes secondary to hormonal regulation. The evidence increasingly supports aspects of this model, though nutrition science continues to evolve in its understanding of these complex systems. Okay, real quick, if you would please subscribe, like, click the bell icon if you want to be notified. It really helps this channel as we continue to grow, and thank you in advance for helping out. Okay, individual variation and metabolic context. No discussion of dietary approaches would be complete without acknowledging the significant role of individual variation. Genetic factors influence how we respond to different macronutrient compositions. Activity levels alter fuel requirements and utilization. Existing metabolic health affects how the body processes various foods. Some individuals thrive on ketogenic approaches, experiencing improved energy, mental clarity, and biomarkers. Others may find these diets difficult to sustain or may not see the same benefits. This highlights the importance of personalization in nutritional approaches. The optimal diet likely varies based on individual factors, goals, and circumstances. Practical considerations. For those considering a shift away from the standard Western diet, several practical considerations merit attention. First, quality matters regardless of dietary approach. Whole, minimally processed foods generally support better outcomes than their highly processed counterparts, regardless of macronutrient composition. Second, transitional effects often occur when shifting between different metabolic states. The keto flu represents a common adaptation period as the body adjusts to using ketones more efficiently. Third, sustainability matters for long-term health. The best diet is one that can be maintained consistently while supporting overall well-being and quality of life. Finally, monitoring objective measures provides valuable feedback. While we shouldn't be chasing these measurements, they help us know that we're moving in the right direction. Blood markers, body composition, energy levels, and other indicators help assess how a particular approach affects our individual health over time. Beyond the macronutrient wars, perhaps the most valuable perspective emerges when we move beyond the reductive battle over which macronutrient composition reigns supreme. The more nuanced view recognizes that different dietary approaches may offer benefits in different contexts. Ketogenic diets may excel for metabolic rehabilitation, weight loss, and certain therapeutic applications, Other approaches may better serve different goals or circumstances. What unites effective dietary approaches is often what they eliminate rather than what they include. Processed foods, refined carbohydrates, industrial seed oils, and added sugars rarely contribute to optimal health, regardless of one's preferred nutritional philosophy. This suggests that moving away from the standard Western diet toward any whole food approach represents a significant step toward improved health outcomes. The path forward. As we navigate the complex landscape of nutrition science, several principles can guide more productive conversations and personal choices. First, recognize that nutritional science continues to evolve. Dogmatic positions rarely serve the advancement of knowledge or individual well-being. Second, consider the evolutionary context of human metabolism. Our bodies developed in environments vastly different from our modern food landscape, and this mismatch likely contributes to many contemporary health challenges. Third, embrace N=1 experimentation within reasonable safety parameters. N=1 means you're doing it yourself and you're finding out what works for you. Individual responses provide valuable data for personal optimization. Finally, maintain perspective on the role of diet within the broader context of health. Sleep, stress management, physical activity, social connection, and other factors powerfully influence health outcomes alongside nutritional choices. So our conclusion. The contrast between ketogenic carnivore approaches and the standard Western diet reveals much about our understanding of human metabolism and nutrition. While definitive answers may remain elusive in many areas, the mounting evidence suggests that conventional dietary wisdom has missed crucial aspects of metabolic health. The standard Western diet appears increasingly problematic as a default nutrition pattern. Ketogenic and carnivore approaches offer alternative metabolic pathways that may be better aligned with certain aspects of human physiology. Their therapeutic potential and mechanism of action warrant continued scientific investigation and consideration. Perhaps most importantly, this nutritional debate reminds us that the human body represents an increasingly sophisticated system that we continue to understand in ever greater detail. Our dietary choices speak a metabolic language that influences every aspect of our biology. The food on your plate does more than just satisfy hunger. It programs your metabolism, influences your genetic expression, shapes your microbial communities, and ultimately helps determine your health trajectory. So do choose wisely. Thank you for watching. Once again, please, if you have any questions or comments, put them in the comments section. If you have any ideas for future videos you'd like me to work on to help answer any questions you have, give me those ideas as well. It really helps the channel. Thank you.